Imagine you die, and instead of heaven or hell, you wake up in a bar. The lighting is warm, the music is soft, and the bartender is calm enough to feel inhuman. There is no clock. There is no window. There is an elevator behind you, and you cannot remember how you arrived. Then the bartender tells you something you cannot accept. He says you will play a game, and the game will decide where your soul goes next. That is Death Parade. It is a story about a place between life and death, a tower filled with bars, and the beings who run them. These beings are called arbiters. Their job is not to comfort the dead. Their job is to judge them. And the most important part is this. The judgment is not based on who wins. The judgment is based on what kind of person you become when you think your life is on the line. The tower between life and death. In Death Parade, when people die, they do not all go to one place. Instead, souls are sent to a mysterious tower. Inside that tower are many floors. Many of those floors are bars. Each bar is run by an arbiter. The arbiter looks like a bartender, but the arbiter is not human. Their role is to host what the show calls a death game. Two people arrive at a bar at the same time. They sit down. Their memories are foggy. Usually they cannot remember their death. Sometimes they cannot even remember basic details about their lives. The arbiter tells them they must play a game and stake their lives. They believe this is a chance to survive. But the truth is that they are already dead. The game is not a test of skill. It is a test of the heart. The arbiter needs to see who you really are when you are pressured, afraid, and desperate. So the bar has a system. In the game, when you take damage, the pain is not imaginary. The pain is real and extreme. The bar forces pain into you through the game itself. It can do this because the bar interacts directly with the soul. The point is to strip away the polite mask. A person who seems kind might become cruel. A person who seems selfish might reveal love. A person who seems strong might collapse. After enough pressure, the arbiter decides the soul is either sent to reincarnation, meaning it will be born again somewhere in the world, or it is sent to the void, meaning it disappears. The bar we follow most often is called Quindecim. It is on the 15th floor. The arbiter there is named Decim. Decim looks like a young man with pale hair and a calm face. He wears a vest like a bartender and moves with a quiet confidence. He speaks politely, almost gently, but he does not smile the way humans smile. His calm is not comfort, it is distance. The opening story of Death Parade begins with two people who have no idea they are dead. A pair of elevator doors open. A young man steps out first. A young woman follows. They look around and see a bar with no entrance, no exit, only the elevator behind them. They hear the soft clink of glass. They smell alcohol, but they do not remember how they got here. Decim stands behind the bar. His posture is perfect. His voice is steady. He welcomes them. The young man is Takashi. The young woman is Machiko. They are newlyweds. They look dressed for celebration, but the mood is wrong. The air is heavy, like they walked into a place that has seen too much fear. Decim tells them a rule. They have arrived at Quindecim. They cannot leave. They must play a game. He says their lives are on the line. At first, Takashi and Machiko react like normal people would. They think it is a joke. They demand an explanation. They try to open the elevator. It does not respond. Decim does not raise his voice. He simply repeats what he said. They will play. He reveals the game. It is darts. A dartboard rises. It looks normal, but Decim explains the twist. When one of them hits the board, the other person will feel the pain. Not symbolic pain, real pain. If you hit a certain area, the other person feels it in a corresponding body part. Takashi laughs nervously. Machiko smiles like she is trying to stay brave. Decim hands them darts. The match begins. At first, the throws are clumsy. They are nervous. They hesitate because hurting the other person feels wrong. But then the pain hits. A dart lands. Machiko flinches, as if something stabbed deep inside her. She gasps, grabs at herself, confused by the sudden agony. Decim watches. His eyes do not change. Takashi panics and apologizes. He swears he did not mean it. Machiko tries to laugh it off, but the fear is already rising. As they continue, something strange happens. The longer they play, the more their memories begin to return. This is how the bar works. The game triggers fragments of the life they lost. Those fragments are not returned as a kindness. They are returned because memory is emotional fuel. Takashi begins to remember his last moments. He remembers a conversation. He remembers suspicion. And slowly, his eyes start to change when he looks at Machiko. At some point, he becomes convinced that Machiko cheated on him. It is not a small doubt. It becomes a wildfire in his head. He starts speaking in a harsh tone. He accuses her. He demands she admit it. Machiko is shocked. She says no. She insists she never cheated. But Takashi is no longer listening. The darts game has become a battlefield. Now he wants to win. Because he believes the winner survives. He believes if he wins, he can leave. And if she loses, she is the one who pays. Machiko begins to shake, not only from pain, but from how quickly the man she married seems to turn into someone else. Takashi throws again. Machiko cries out. The board becomes a weapon. As the match continues, Takashi becomes more aggressive, more desperate, and more cruel. Machiko tries to stop him. She tries to reach him emotionally. She reminds him they just got married. It does not matter. In Takashi's head, the idea of betrayal becomes the only truth. Then Machiko says something that changes the entire situation. She tells him she is pregnant. The words hang in the air. Takashi freezes. A part of him seems to break. And then, instead of love, it triggers something darker. He reacts as if the pregnancy is proof of cheating. He says the child is not his. He rejects it. Machiko's face changes. She looks hurt and angry at the same time. And then, under pressure, she says the thing that will wound him most. She admits she did cheat. She says she married him for money. She acts cold. It feels like she is choosing cruelty on purpose. Takashi snaps. He is ready to destroy her. The darts keep flying. But Machiko, trembling, manages to land the final winning hit. The match ends. Takashi tries to attack her. Decim stops him with ease. He restrains him, like stopping a child. And now the truth arrives. Decim calmly reveals what this place actually is. Takashi and Machiko are already dead. They died in a car crash. The memories come back in full. Takashi remembers driving with Machiko, overcome with jealousy. He remembers losing control. He remembers the impact. He remembers the fall. Machiko remembers it too. The life they were fighting for is already gone. Now the only thing left is judgment. Decim leads them toward 2 elevators. One elevator is for reincarnation. The other is for the void. Takashi believes he should be punished. He believes he killed his wife and their baby. Machiko stands quietly. Decim makes his decision. Machiko is sent to the void. Takashi is sent to reincarnation. This shocks the viewer, because the game made it look like Takashi was the monster. But Death Parade is already showing its main theme. What you see in a pressure moment is not always the whole truth. And the show hints at a painful possibility. Machiko's cruelty might have been a final act of love. By claiming the child was not Takashi's, and by admitting cheating, she may have been trying to reduce his guilt, so he would not be crushed by the idea that he killed his own baby. It is the first twist of the series. The judgment is not about winning. It is about the heart you reveal. And yet, even here, something feels uneasy. Because Decim's face did not change. He judged, but he did not feel. And that question, whether a being without human emotion should judge humans, is the question the anime will keep sharpening. After the intense first judgment, the story shifts away from the dead customers and into the tower itself. A young woman wakes up in a strange room. She has black hair. She is calm but confused. She cannot remember her name. She cannot remember her life. She does not even know where she is. A girl greets her. The girl is named Nona. Nona has white hair and a strange kind of authority for someone who looks so young. She wears a skull-themed headpiece and behaves like someone who oversees important systems. Nona speaks to the woman like this is normal. She asks her name. The woman cannot answer. Nona tells her that is fine because she does not have one. Then Nona explains the truth. The woman is dead, but she is not here to be judged. She is here to assist an arbiter. Nona is running an experiment. Decim, the arbiter of Quindecim, is being observed. Nona wants to see if Decim can become a better judge. So she assigns the unnamed woman to work with him. The woman is brought to Quindecim. She meets Decim again, but this time she is not a customer. She is on the other side of the bar. Decim calls her his assistant. She is not given a human job title. She is given a function. Her role is to watch and learn. But in practice, her role becomes something else. She is a human heart placed next to a judge who does not fully understand human hearts. Her presence is meant to change him. In episode 2, the anime revisits the newlyweds case. It shows additional details and emphasizes something important. Takashi's jealousy did not come from nowhere. Machiko did cheat once, but she regretted it. And her final cruelty may have been a lie meant to protect him. The unnamed woman points this out. She observes that Machiko's last choices could have been compassion, not malice. Decim listens, but his face stays still. This is the first major conflict. The assistant sees meaning in human contradictions. Decim sees outcomes. 2 more people arrive at Quindecim. This time, the atmosphere is different. The guests are a young man and a young woman. They are about the same age. They look like students. They are confused, but not immediately hostile. Decim explains the situation as always. He says they must play a game. The game is bowling. A bowling lane appears. The assistant stands by Decim and watches carefully. The twist in this game is that the bowling balls show something inside them. When the guests look closely, they see images that resemble hearts. They are not simply throwing balls. They are throwing symbols of their souls. The match begins. Unlike episode 1, this match does not turn vicious. As they play, the 2 guests begin to relax. They talk, they laugh awkwardly, they encourage each other. As the frames of memory return, they realize something. They were childhood friends. They had a connection long before this bar. The game becomes less about survival and more about reunion. The young man starts to remember regrets and unspoken feelings. The young woman also remembers. They realize they died, and that this might be the last time they ever see each other. In that moment, the young man asks her out. It is not a joke. It is not a manipulation. It is a sincere request born from a cruel truth. If he does not ask now, he will never ask. Decim, surprisingly, allows it. He permits them one final date inside the bar's illusions. They experience a sequence that feels like a brief dream of normal life, a shared drink, a moment of quiet, the feeling of being alive even though they are not. Then the judgment happens. Decim sends both souls to reincarnation. The assistant watches and feels something new. If the bar can host cruelty, it can also host mercy. But this raises the same question. How does Decim decide? And what does he actually understand? The next pair arrives. This time, the dynamic is tense from the start. One of the guests is a woman named Misaki Takebana. Misaki is a television personality, and she treats the situation like a show. She looks for cameras, she assumes it is a prank, she acts confident. The other guest is a young man named Yaosuke Tateshi. Yaosuke is an otaku and seems overwhelmed, but he is also quick to accept rules when he thinks there is no other choice. They both try to escape. They push on the walls. They question Decim. They test the elevator. Nothing works. Decim offers the game. It is a fighting arcade game. A classic-style combat game appears, and each of them controls a character. The twist is that their characters represent them. The match begins. Misaki tries to control the mood. She directs Yaosuke like she is directing a scene. She tells him how to act. She tries to keep herself calm by treating everything as performance. But the bar does not care about performance. As each round ends, memories return. When Misaki loses a round, fragments of her life flash in her mind. We see her fame. We see her relationships. We see cruelty and abuse around her. When Yaosuke loses a round, fragments of his life flash too. We see his home. We see a broken family. We see emotional isolation. As the game continues, the tension grows. Misaki's confidence starts to crack. Yaosuke's fear becomes clearer. At some point, the match ends in a draw. And the moment they both fully realize they are dead, something strange happens. Decim, who is usually distant, embraces them. He holds them as they break down. This is not a human hug. It is stiff, like a doll trying to imitate comfort. But it still matters, because it is Decim trying to do something beyond judgment. Then the elevators open. Misaki is sent to the void. Yaosuke is sent to reincarnation. The assistant is disturbed. Not because judgment happened, but because she is starting to see that the bar is designed to provoke pain. She is starting to see that Decim is willing to increase cruelty if he believes it will reveal the truth. She questions him. Decim answers with logic. He says he must draw out darkness. The assistant answers with humanity. She believes people are more than their worst moments. The conflict is now alive. Other bars, other judges. By this point, Death Parade is no longer just an anthology of death games. It becomes a story about the system behind the games. There are other arbiters. There are other floors. And there are rules and politics inside the tower. The unnamed assistant is shown dreaming. She sees a story that keeps returning, like a memory trying to push through the fog. It involves a young boy and a young girl. The images feel like a children's book. When she wakes and goes to work, she notices something chilling. Decim has been instructed by Nona to change a panel in Quindecim. On that panel is an image of a girl. The assistant recognizes the girl from her dream. It feels like her own lost life is circling closer. Then the elevator opens. 2 new guests arrive. A grown man steps out. A young boy follows. Decim welcomes them. But something is immediately off. The man looks around and reacts like he recognizes the bar. He looks at Decim and seems to know him. This should not happen. Most guests arrive with sealed memories. Decim asks if he remembers anything. The man's behavior becomes increasingly unstable. He notices the mannequins behind the bar. Those mannequins are important. Decim keeps them as models of guests he wants to remember. They are like trophies, but also like graves. The man's eyes lock on them. Suddenly he snaps. He grabs the boy and takes him hostage. He demands to leave. He screams that he refuses to play. Decim restrains him quickly, not with anger, but with efficiency. At the same time, the boy does something impossible. He calmly walks up and puts the assistant to sleep. It is not a human action. It is a function. The assistant collapses. Decim turns and reacts. The boy is revealed to be another arbiter. His name is Ginti. Ginti has been disguised as a human child. The man is not a real guest either. He is a dummy, a puppet with implanted memories. This entire situation was a test. Nona appears and reveals the truth. Decim was being tested to see if he could detect something wrong, to see if he could judge properly under unusual conditions. Decim failed. He was distracted by the man's apparent knowledge of the bar and did not realize the boy had no memories, meaning the boy was not truly a human guest. Ginti becomes irritated and confrontational. He fights Decim. The conflict is stopped when Nona pins Ginti down with overwhelming strength and authority. The test ends. The dummy man is taken away. The assistant is put back to sleep. And the episode reveals a larger truth. The tower is overloaded. There are too many deaths. The system is strained. Arbiters may be forced to handle cases they are not prepared for. And Nona, who oversees arbiters, is pushing Decim deliberately. This implies she wants Decim to change. She wants something different from the current cold system. Now the story moves away from Quindecim and into another bar. This bar is called Ginti, on the 20th floor. It is run by Ginti. Ginti is the opposite of Decim. He is arrogant. He is blunt. He feels aggressive even though he is also not human. 2 guests arrive. The first is a high school girl named Mayu Arita. Mayu is energetic and emotional. She is the type of person who speaks before thinking. The second is a man named Harada. Harada is a member of a popular boy band called CHA. Mayu recognizes him instantly. She is thrilled. She acts like she just met a celebrity. Harada, meanwhile, is distracted. He keeps thinking about his girlfriend and wants to get back to his life. Ginti tells them they must play a game. The game is Twister. At first it seems ridiculous. Mayu laughs. Harada complains. They twist their bodies on the mat. But then Ginti changes the rules. The colored circles begin to trigger environmental effects. One circle becomes burning heat. Another becomes freezing cold. Their bodies start to suffer. Their skin chills. Their breath turns sharp. Their muscles shake. The game becomes torture. Just when they think it cannot get worse, the floor shifts. They are placed above a pit of spikes. They are told there is a sudden death condition. The situation becomes a direct threat. Harada's body tenses. Fear rises. Mayu's mind races. At the edge of panic, Mayu makes a surprising choice. She decides to forfeit. She steps off, but she does not die. The spikes are fake. She lands safely, and the shock causes her memories to return. Mayu remembers her death. She died in a simple, almost absurd way. She slipped on soap and died. It is tragic in its simplicity. Harada's memories return too. He remembers his ex-girlfriend. He remembers how his actions drove her to suicide. He remembers the revenge that followed. Harada was killed by his girlfriend using a timed bomb. His girlfriend was the sister of the girl who killed herself. The truth of his life is heavy. After the game ends, something strange happens. Instead of immediately being judged and sent away, Mayu and Harada remain in the bar. They even put on a concert for the staff, as if this twisted place is trying to imitate an afterlife party. Ginti watches them with a cold interest. This episode is important because it shows another style of arbiter. Ginti is willing to push pain quickly. He treats the guests like toys, but he also does something else. He keeps Mayu around. He does not send her on. This becomes a thread that will matter later. Back in Quindecim, the assistant continues to feel something pulling at her. She finds a children's picture book. It is called Chavat. The moment she touches it, something inside her shifts. Her memories do not fully return, but she remembers one key fact. She is dead. It is no longer a vague suspicion. It becomes certainty. She confronts Decim. She asks who the book belongs to. Decim tells her it belonged to Quinn. Quinn is a former arbiter of Quindecim. Quinn left the bar and now works in the Information Bureau. This episode reveals Decim's past. We see that, years earlier, Nona brought Decim and Ginti to observe Quinn's final judgment before Quinn quit. Nona gave them a remote-like device. The device could change the game, increasing stress or shifting conditions. During Quinn's judgment, Decim did not press the device. When asked why, Decim said he forgot. But the real reason is more revealing. He was distracted by what the guests were thinking. Even back then, Decim was drawn to the human mind. Not with empathy, but with curiosity. He respected people who lived full lives. The episode also shows the tower's structure. Quinn interacts with Nona. Oculus appears, a powerful figure who plays billiards and oversees parts of the system. The Information Bureau exists to manage memories and data. It is where knowledge is stored and processed. We also learn something intimate about Decim. He makes mannequins. He creates dolls that resemble guests. He keeps them as a kind of record, because arbiters receive memories from guests, but those memories fade over time due to the overwhelming number of souls passing through. The mannequins are his way of treasuring certain people. It is strange and eerie, but also revealing. Decim, a being who claims not to have human emotion, still tries to hold on to something. The assistant sees these mannequins and feels unsettled. But she also sees something like loneliness. Decim is surrounded by souls and memories, yet he is alone. Now Death Parade reaches one of its darkest and most morally complex cases. Nona arranges for Decim to receive 2 guests who are unusually dangerous. 2 men arrive at Quindecim. One is a young man named Shimada. The other is a detective named Tatsumi. Before the game begins, the assistant hears a warning. One of the guests is a murderer. This is not a normal situation for Decim. Most people brought to his bar are ordinary in the sense that their lives ended in accidents, illness, despair, or everyday violence. But here, the possibility of a deliberate killer is introduced. Shimada searches his belongings and finds something horrifying. A knife. It is stained with blood. He does not know why it is there. He does not remember using it. Tatsumi, the detective, tries to take control. He speaks like an investigator. He suggests they work together to understand what is happening. Decim presents the game. It is air hockey. The table appears, the puck glides, the rules are simple. But nothing is simple in Quindecim. As they play, the bar returns their memories in fragments. Tatsumi begins to remember his life. He remembers his wife. He remembers finding her murdered. The grief comes back like a knife. Shimada begins to remember his life. He remembers growing up young without parents. He remembers raising his younger sister, Sae. He remembers protecting her. And then he remembers the event that broke him. He remembers coming home and discovering Sae had been assaulted. A stalker raped her. The memory is brutal. Shimada's face hardens, rage rises. Tatsumi's face also changes. He becomes more intense. Both men now want to win, not because they believe it will restore life, but because they feel cornered and judged. Decim shifts the game. Now, when a player scores, the puck triggers intense pain in the opponent. The pain corresponds to organs. A scored puck can feel like a heart is being crushed. It can feel like lungs are collapsing. The bar forces them into agony. Their calm breaks. Accusations begin. Shimada's rage becomes dangerous. Tatsumi's anger becomes sharp. At the same time, the assistant makes a request to Decim. She asks to see the memories Decim has received. This is important because arbiters do not normally share that. But Decim allows it. And she learns the truth. Both Shimada and Tatsumi are murderers. Shimada killed the man who assaulted his sister. In his rage, he also killed someone he believed was an accomplice. Tatsumi, in his grief, tracked down and killed the person who murdered his wife. But Tatsumi did not stop there. He became something like a vigilante. He watched people who seemed suspicious. And if they committed crimes, he killed them. This connects to Shimada in a horrifying way. During the assault on Sae, Tatsumi witnessed it. He did nothing. Because at that time, he was watching, waiting to see what would happen. To Tatsumi, in his warped moral logic, he was measuring guilt. To Shimada, it is unforgivable. This case becomes a collision of grief, revenge, and moral corruption. Shimada sees Tatsumi as complicit. Tatsumi sees Shimada as a criminal. Both see themselves as justified. The assistant tries to intervene emotionally. She tries to lessen Shimada's guilt. She tries to stop Tatsumi from escalating. But the bar's purpose is to escalate. The point is to expose what they are. The episode ends with the tension unresolved in full detail here, because the judgment and consequences continue into the next part of the story. And with that, the anime has set up something crucial. Decim is now handling cases that are far beyond simple guilt. The assistant is now seeing the system's cruelty directly. And the question behind everything becomes louder. If this place exists to judge the dead, who judges the judges? Title: Death Parade Explained as a Complete Story, Episodes 9 through 12. Recap of where we left off. In the last part, Decim and his assistant faced a brutal case in Quindecim. Two men, Shimada and Tatsumi, played air hockey while their memories returned. Both were driven by revenge. Both carried blood on their hands. The assistant had begun to see the system's cruelty up close, and Decim had begun to bend in small ways, listening to her, but still believing pain was necessary to reveal truth. Now we continue from the point where that air hockey judgment becomes a breaking point for everyone involved. Section 4. The Crack in the System. Episode 9. Death Counter. Shimada and Tatsumi return to the air hockey table. By this point, the bar is no longer a strange room to them. The fear has shifted into something sharper. It is not fear of dying, because a part of them has realized that dying already happened. It is fear of judgment, fear of what the other person might reveal, fear of what they themselves might reveal. The assistant watches closely. She is no longer a passive observer. She is emotionally involved because she can feel how the bar is dragging these two men into a place where their worst selves can take the wheel. The game continues. The puck slides with a smooth, almost cheerful sound, which only makes it feel more cruel. Each time someone scores, the bar punishes the other person. The pain is not a sting. It is a deep, internal pain, like organs being crushed. Tatsumi breathes hard through it. Shimada clenches his jaw, trying not to cry out. And as their memories return, the story of their lives becomes clear. Tatsumi was a detective. He lived a normal life until tragedy shattered it. His wife was murdered. He found her body. The grief was so intense that it broke his morality. He hunted down the murderer. He killed him. But then something in him shifted. He did not stop. He began to stalk other people he believed were dangerous. He watched them. He waited for proof, and if they committed crimes, he executed them. He started calling it justice. But it was revenge disguised as principle. Shimada's life is a different kind of tragedy. He was young and raising his little sister, Sae. He had to be both parent and protector. Then a man assaulted Sae. Sae was raped by a stalker. Shimada's world shattered. The only thing left in him was rage and the need to punish the person who did it. He tracked the rapist down. He stabbed him. In the struggle, Shimada was mortally wounded. His blood loss was already killing him. Then, in the chaos, he killed another person he believed was involved. That second person was Tatsumi. Shimada did not know who he truly was. He only knew what his sister told him. She said there was someone else watching. So Shimada assumed there was an accomplice. He killed the man he found there, believing he was part of the crime. He did not realize that the man he stabbed was a detective, a witness, and a murderer of his own. Now, in Quindecim, the missing piece becomes the knife twisting deeper. Tatsumi admits something that destroys any chance of calm. He says he was there. He says he saw the assault on SAE. And he did nothing. Not because he could not. Not because he arrived too late. But because he was watching. He was observing. He wanted to see the crime happen, so he could justify killing the perpetrator. In his mind, he was building a case. In reality, he was letting a girl suffer so he could satisfy his own twisted mission. When Shimada hears this, the rage in him becomes pure violence. His hands shake. His eyes widen. He stops seeing Tatsumi as a person. He sees him as the second criminal, the one who watched. The assistant tries to step in. She speaks to Shimada in a calmer tone. She tries to tell him that guilt and anger will not change what happened. She tries to guide him toward the idea that SAE needed her brother to survive, not to become a monster. But Tatsumi does not want calm. He taunts Shimada. He speaks cruelly, as if he wants to break him. He suggests that Shimada is no different from him. He suggests that violence is the only language they both truly speak. Shimada charges. He tries to attack Tatsumi directly. Decim stops him. This is a key moment. Decim restrains Shimada not with anger, but with the same cold efficiency he used in episode 1. Shimada struggles. He screams. He is trapped. And Decim reminds him of the truth. They are dead. They cannot kill each other again. But they can still suffer. And the bar is designed to make them suffer. Then Decim does something that shocks the assistant. He lowers a knife. He places the air hockey pucks in front of Shimada. He presents them like a choice. It is not literally a choice to kill Tatsumi, because killing cannot happen here, but it is a psychological weapon. It is Decim forcing Shimada to confront what he is becoming. In that moment, the assistant realizes something terrifying. Decim is not just observing cruelty. He is capable of creating it. He believes he must do this to judge correctly. To Decim, the soul is revealed under pressure. To the assistant, the soul is sometimes distorted by pressure. This is the crack. Because if the system creates the darkness, how can it claim to judge darkness fairly? The episode moves toward its end with both men broken. Tatsumi's smug cruelty is exposed as a rot inside him. Shimada's love for his sister is real, but it has been twisted into rage. The judgment happens. The show implies that both men are sent to the void. Their lives were ruled by revenge. Their final moments in the bar were ruled by violence and cruelty. The assistant watches this outcome and feels sick. She does not deny that these men did terrible things. What bothers her is that the bar did not simply reveal them. The bar tortured them. And Decim, the judge, chose to deepen that torture. When the elevators close, the bar becomes quiet again. But the assistant is not quiet inside. She begins to question the entire foundation of judgment. Episode 10. Storyteller. After the air hockey judgment, the tower shifts into a new phase. Nona speaks with Decim. She tells him that it is finally time. The assistant, the black-haired woman who has been watching all these judgments, must now be judged herself. This is important because it reveals that the assistant was never meant to stay forever. She was never meant to be a permanent staff member. She was a soul being used for an experiment. A human heart placed beside an arbiter to see if he could learn something he was never built to have. Decim is informed that he will receive a special guest. The guest arrives. She is an elderly woman. Her name is Sachiko Yumura. She looks gentle and tired, like someone who has lived a long life and is ready to rest. She is not aggressive, she is curious. She looks around Quindecim with the calm of a person who is not easily shaken. Decim welcomes her. The assistant stands beside him. And for the first time, the assistant is placed in the position of a guest, even though she is still standing behind the bar. This judgment is not only for Sachiko. It is also for the assistant. Decim chooses the game. It is old maid. A simple card game. But as always, the bar transforms the simple into the terrifying. The cards are not normal. Each card contains images, illustrations that reflect the memories of the players. When Sachiko looks at the cards, she sees pieces of her own life. She sees scenes she recognizes. And because she is an illustrator, she pays attention to details. She notices the way the images are drawn. She notices the meaning hidden in lines. As the game continues, Sachiko begins to understand the truth. She is dead. The realization does not crush her. It settles into her quietly. She accepts it. Her reaction is striking because most guests panic. Sachiko does not. She looks at the card illustrations like she is reading the final pages of a book. As the cards pass between hands, the assistant also sees images. But the images on her cards do not fully return her memories. Instead, they tease. They show fragments. A mother's presence. A child's room. A storybook. And then, one card appears with an illustration that triggers something deep. It is connected to the story of Chavat, the picture book the assistant found earlier. The assistant's mind floods with emotion. And for the first time, she remembers her own name. Her name is Chiyuki. It is a simple moment, but it carries weight. Because her entire time in Quindecim has been shaped by not knowing who she is. Now she has an anchor. Chiyuki. With the name comes more memory. She remembers her mother reading her the story of Chavat. She remembers the warmth of home. She remembers being young. Sachiko notices Chiyuki's reaction. And Sachiko begins to talk about stories. She talks about what it means to create characters. She talks about drawing people who do not exist. She talks about giving life through art. The conversation becomes a quiet contrast to all the screaming and pain that usually fills Quindecim. This is not a judgment built on cruelty. It is a judgment built on memory and meaning. The old maid game continues until it ends. Sachiko wins. She is not triumphant. She simply accepts the result. Then Decim opens the elevators. Sachiko is judged. She is sent to reincarnation. She leaves with a calm expression, as if she is stepping into the next chapter. Chiyuki remains. She is still in Quindecim. Her judgment has not happened yet. But she has her name now. And she has begun to remember. Outside Quindecim, another tension grows. Oculus, a high-ranking figure in the tower, confronts Nona. He can sense that something is different. Decim is changing. Nona is interfering. Oculus demands answers. Nona does not fully surrender them. She is pushing against the old way. She wants arbiters to understand humans better. But the system was not built for understanding. It was built for sorting. And now, the sorting machine is starting to develop a heart. Episode 11. Memento Mori. The focus splits into two parts. One part follows Chiyuki and Decim in Quindecim. The other part follows Mayu in Ginti, where Ginti has kept her since her twister game. First, in Ginti. Ginti brings Mayu a truth she did not want. Harada, the idol she played against, has already been judged. His soul has already been sent to the void. Mayu is devastated. She wanted to believe Harada's life could be restored. She wanted to believe the system might allow a miracle. Ginti, cruel as always, offers her a choice. He tells her that Harada's soul could be brought back. But the cost is brutal. To bring Harada back, another soul must be sent to the void in his place. Not a guilty soul. Not a murderer. Just a random person. A stranger. Someone Mayu has never met. Ginti presents this choice like it is a simple transaction. Mayu freezes. She is young. She died in a silly accident, slipping on soap. She is not a mastermind. She is not a villain. But now she is being forced into a moral trap. Is her love for Harada worth someone else's annihilation? Mayu struggles with it. In the end, she cannot do it. She cannot choose a random person to be erased. And she cannot let go of Harada. So her choice becomes something heartbreaking. She chooses to go with him. She chooses to cling to the person she devoted her life to, even if that means falling into the void. She takes Harada's soulless body. She drags it toward the elevator. Ginti watches. He sends Mayu into the void. And as the orbs of light representing their souls fall, the visuals suggest their souls join, merging into one as they descend. This is Mayu's end. Not a heroic sacrifice. Not a selfish murder. A desperate, youthful devotion that cannot accept separation. Now back to Quindecim. Decim tells Chiyuki something important. He says her judgment is coming. Chiyuki is afraid. But she is also desperate to remember. She believes that if she remembers her life, she can understand who she was and maybe accept who she is now. Decim does something unexpected. He offers her a chance to perform. He brings out an ice rink illusion inside Quindecim. Chiyuki steps onto the ice. And suddenly, her body moves with instinct. Her posture becomes elegant. Her arms extend naturally. Her legs glide. She begins to skate. In that moment, memories surge. Chiyuki was a figure skater. Not just a hobbyist. A professional. Skating was the center of her identity. She smiles while skating, and for a moment she looks alive. She spins. She jumps. She moves with a joy that feels pure. Decim watches her closely. The assistant who once watched guests now becomes the guest being watched. As she skates, more memories return. She remembers competitions. She remembers the pressure of performance. She remembers the pride. Then a darker memory returns. A jump. A mistake. A horrible injury. Chiyuki remembers injuring her knee while attempting a triple axel. The pain of that moment returns so intensely that her body reacts. Her balance breaks. She falls. She scrapes along the ice. And when she looks down, she sees something that shakes her. Her skin has torn. Underneath is not blood. Underneath is a doll's limb. A mannequin leg. Chiyuki realizes the truth. Her body is not her human body. Her body here is a doll body. She is, in a sense, a soul housed in a constructed form. The horror is not just physical. It is existential. She is forced to face that she is not alive, and she is not even physically human anymore. Chiyuki breaks down. She cries. She trembles. She asks why this is happening. Decim tries to respond, but he is also changing. He is not cold in this moment. He is uncertain. He feels the weight of her suffering. And as Chiyuki cries, Decim experiences something he cannot name yet. It is not logic. It is not curiosity. It is the beginnings of empathy. The episode ends with Chiyuki shaken and Decim visibly affected. Her judgment is imminent. And now it is not just a test of her soul. It is a test of Decim's growth. Section 5. The Final Judgment. Episode 12. Suicide Tour. The final episode begins with pressure from above. Oculus confronts Nona again. He demands to know what she is doing. He sees that Decim is developing something like emotion. To the system, that is dangerous. Arbiters are supposed to be neutral. They are supposed to judge without being influenced by attachment. But Nona has been waiting for this. She has been quietly fighting against the cold principle that arbiters must remain detached. She believes that detachment can create injustice. Because how can you judge a human soul if you do not understand what it feels like to be human? While this conflict happens in the background, Decim makes his move. He calls the Information Bureau and requests a favor. Then he takes Chiyuki. He carries her into the elevator. The elevator is operated by Clavis, the cheerful attendant who manages elevator travel between floors. Decim asks to go to the lowest level. This is unusual. Chiyuki is unconscious at first. When she wakes, she finds herself somewhere impossible. She is in her old bedroom. It looks like the living world. It looks like her real home. Decim is there with her. But he explains something crucial. They cannot interact with the living. They cannot be seen. This is not time travel. It is not a real return. It is an illusion built from her memories. But for Chiyuki, it feels real enough to break her. She walks through her home. She sees familiar objects. She sees the details of a life she lost. Her mother appears. Her mother moves through the house, alive, unaware that her daughter's soul is watching. Chiyuki sees her mother's face. She sees her mother's exhaustion. She sees grief. And as Chiyuki watches, her memories return fully. She remembers the life she lived. She remembers skating as her identity. She remembers the knee injury that destroyed her career. She remembers the depression. She remembers growing distant from everyone because she believed nobody could understand her pain. She remembers feeling like the world had taken the thing that defined her. And finally, she remembers the moment she died. Chiyuki committed suicide. She died by slitting her wrists in her bathroom. It is a quiet death, the kind that leaves a family with endless questions. The memory hits her like a wave. Her body shakes. She cannot breathe properly. And in the middle of this emotional collapse, Decim presents the final test. He gives Chiyuki a button. He tells her that she can return to her old life. She can live again. But there is a price. To reclaim her life, someone else must die. A random person. A stranger. Somebody who is alive right now. Their life would be taken, and Chiyuki would replace them. This is the exact moral trap that Ginti offered Mayu. Now it is offered to Chiyuki. Chiyuki holds the button. Her hands tremble. At first, the temptation is real. Because she sees her mother. She sees her mother's sorrow. She sees the pain her suicide caused. She wants to undo it. She wants to go back. She wants to apologize. She wants to live. But then she remembers something else. She remembers the people she watched in Quindecim. She remembers Takashi and Machiko. She remembers Miura and Mai. She remembers Misaki and Yaosuk. She remembers Shimada and Tatsumi. She remembers how every person who died left someone behind. Everyone has someone they cherish. Even the worst people. Even the broken. Every life is connected. So if she presses this button, she is not just taking a random life. She is creating another tragedy. Another mother crying. Another family shattered. Another soul forced into Quindecim. Chiyuki cannot do it. She lowers her hand. She breaks into tears. She apologizes. She speaks to her mother, even though her mother cannot hear her. She says she is sorry. She says she was wrong. She says she finally understands how much her death hurt the people who loved her. Then, in a final moment of desperation, she turns to Decim. She begs him. She asks him to press the button for her. Because she cannot do it. But she also cannot let go of the desire to undo her death. She wants someone else to carry the guilt. This is important, because it shows Chiyuki's darkness. Even now, even after understanding, she still has a selfish, desperate part inside her. And that is exactly what the judgment is meant to reveal. Decim looks at her. For most of the series, his eyes would be empty in this moment. But now he hesitates. His face tightens. His chest feels heavy. Then something happens. The illusion breaks. The home shatters like glass. The world around them collapses. And Chiyuki sees where she truly is. She is on the lowest level of the tower. A place filled with piles of dolls. Mannequins stacked like discarded shells. A graveyard of bodies without souls. Decim tells her the truth. The button was an illusion. There was never a real option to return to life. It was part of the judgment. It was designed to test her. And now Chiyuki understands that the real test was not whether she would take a stranger's life. It was whether she could face her own life honestly. Decim apologizes. And then something happens that changes everything. Decim cries. The arbiter, who judged countless souls with a calm face, finally sheds tears. He finally understands sorrow. Not as a concept, as a feeling. The show makes it clear that this is the result of his time with Chiyuki. By watching her reactions, by hearing her thoughts, by being challenged by her empathy, he has begun to develop something that arbiters are not supposed to have. A heart. Now Decim must make the final judgment. He brings Chiyuki back to Quindecim. He tells her the result. Chiyuki is sent to reincarnation. This is the decision that proves Decim has changed. Because Chiyuki committed suicide. The system treats suicide as complicated. It is a choice to end life, and that can be interpreted as selfishness. But Decim's judgment does not reduce her to that act. He sees her full story. He sees her regret. He sees her compassion when she refuses to take another life. He sees her darkness when she begs him to press the button. and he sees her humanity as a whole. He chooses reincarnation. Chiyuki steps toward the elevator. As she goes, her body becomes fully like a mannequin, because her time in Quindecim was always in a doll body. She looks back. She says goodbye. Decim stands still. But he is not empty anymore. He is grieving. He is proud. He is learning what it means to let someone go. Chiyuki enters the elevator. The doors close. She is gone. And this also answers something the series planted earlier. Decim keeps mannequins as records. Now, after Chiyuki leaves, a mannequin that resembles her will remain in Quindecim. Not as a trophy. As a memory. A reminder that a soul changed him. After Chiyuki's departure, the tower continues. The system does not stop. People keep dying. They keep arriving. Games keep being played. But the ending suggests that something has shifted. Nona's experiment worked. Decim has developed a human perspective. Not fully. Not perfectly. But enough to change how he judges. And the show leaves you with the central idea. Humans are contradictions. We are capable of cruelty and kindness. We are capable of selfishness and sacrifice. A single moment under pressure is not the whole story. A single sin is not the whole soul. Judgment, if it is to be real, must see the full person. That is what Death Parade builds toward. A cold bar. A calm bartender. A system built to sort souls like numbers. And one human heart that forces the judge to finally understand what it means to feel.